Hey guys, welcome back to Vitraj. Here is League of Legends, 10 most difficult champions to master. Let's go into the video. League of Legends, 10 most difficult champions to master. League of Legends started with uncomplicated champions and an easier take on the MOBA genre. Things started changing after a few years. Riot became bold and decided to create champions with complex mechanics that would become even more complex and even more weird every year. Easy-to-play champions would get reworks, and some new champions would get convoluted passives with hard-to-track skill synergy. Some of these champions are incredibly hard to master due to their hard-to-understand mechanics. Others might have much simpler mechanics that are nuanced enough to have significantly different uses depending on the context. One way or another, some champions in the current League of Legends are notoriously hard to master. 10. Aphelios, the Weapon of the Faithful. This champion is a living arsenal that mercilessly strikes down the enemies of his faith. Guided by his sister, the mute gunslinger uses several different weapons with equal mastery. The part about being an arsenal is not an exaggeration. Aphelios actually has 5 different weapons with different gameplay mechanics that are frequently changed while he is shooting enemies. In order to master this champion, players must know when to change to the offhand gun and know all the special abilities of each different weapon. Not only that, but players also have to know how the weapons synergize in the main hand and offhand. 9. Samira, the Desert Rose. This character is an unapologetic reference to Devil May Cry. Some fans consider Samira to be a gimmicky character since she has to keep changing the way she strikes down her foes in order to unlock her ultimate. However, this is easier said than done. Although Samira does have great skills and damage, she can be easily shut down with a crowd control skill. This makes her positioning crucial in her great performance. Not only that, she is highly dependent on surviving and striking while using different abilities until she can ult. She seems a bit too similar to Isabella from Dragon Age, wouldn't you say? 8. Azir, the Ascended Emperor. This ancient Shoraman ruler is by far one of the hardest champions to make full use of. Although his kit seems simplistic, Azir is a very vulnerable hypercarry that becomes a god of repositioning and sky-high damage per second. This all depends on being at the right place all the time while completely dominating the little things that can turn this stale champion into a highly mobile, gracious damage machine. This champion is left aside even by pros because of how hard it is to use him effectively. 7. Akali, the Rogue Assassin. Once called the Fist of Shadow, Akali left the Kinku in order to protect those she judged in need of her. Now she uses all that she has learned from her master Shen in order to defend Ionia from its enemies. Akali is a highly mobile assassin. Although she might lack the burst damage that others of her category have, she specializes in frequently jumping in to deal damage and leaving to do it again. What makes her hard to master is knowing how to use her passives and making sure that the chosen time to jump in is not a death sentence. Once this is mastered, it is nearly impossible to catch an Akali. Mastering her kit is far from being easy though. 6. Kiana, the Empress of the Elements. This champion is a powerful warrior who dominates elemental magic. Combined with her agility, combat prowess, and exotic weapon, Kiana thinks of herself as the greatest elementalist to have ever existed among her people. She is one of these champions with an easy-to-understand concept but a not-so-easy-to-use kit. Making her work at minimum functionality is not complicated, but learning all the nuance behind the elements and applying them in the best possible way takes long hours of learning, trial, and error to master. The difference between an intermediate Kiana and a master one is always painfully clear. 5. Yasuo, the Unforgiven. An agile master of the sword, Yasuo cuts through the air and bends it with his technique. The Unforgiven was forced to kill his own brother in self-defense after being falsely accused of murdering his own master. In Summoner's Rift, Yasuo is a scary thing to see. This champion is extremely powerful and his plays can change the tide suddenly. If fed early, Yasuo becomes an unstoppable killing machine. Many constantly die playing Yasuo, which makes some players ban him just so he won't be picked by a teammate. 4. Yone, the Unforgotten. A majestic swordmaster who came back from the dead, Yone hunts evil spirits while tries to understand what he has become. He has a certain grace that is unique to him, and his style currently differs from his brothers due to his dual-wielding technique. Much like Yasuo, Yone can be very complicated to use effectively. That happens due to the nature of his skills and their situational effects. Yone's lane phase can also be difficult for those who do not play with the needed patience, and his powerful ult just throws a player in the middle of the enemy team when unwisely used. 3. Lee Sin, the Blind Monk. There is not a single player who was learning Lee Sin and did not go for a resonating strike right after hitting Sonic Wave, even though it would result in terrible positioning. This is just one of the many reasons Lee Sin is hard to master. He is a powerful jungler with amazing repositioning skills, one of the best ultimates in the game, and also a lot of utility. Unfortunately, Lee Sin is also one of those champions that do poorly late game, so using his kit effectively during the early and mid game is crucial to make him worth the pick. 2. Thresh, the Chain Warden. This champion comes across as a sadistic undead who tortures his victims even after they have passed away. Of course, the Spirit Blossom Thresh skin might have people assuming differently. But Thresh is one of the most interesting support champions in Summoner's Rift. Although he is incredibly hard to master, his kit is so strong that using it at a basic level is already enough to make him useful. Thresh has a lot of nuanced ways to use his kit that benefit out of the box thinking a whole lot. Although the bread and butter works fine, professionals keep coming up with new ways to use his kit. Knowing all of the nuance of his hook and lantern are key to transform Thresher from decent support into an outstanding support champion. 1. Irelia, the Blade Dancer. Although her kit might not seem as complicated as the ones of other champions, it is nuanced enough to make it hard to learn. Worse than learning is using it in a completely effective way. Players must know the best moment to dash in, mark the target, position her blades while making sure it is the right time to jump in. Irelia has many ways to get in and deal damage, but getting out is not one of the things she does best. So teamwork, team awareness, and even minion awareness are things that the player must use in order to make the most out of her kit. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them with that. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.